Hello and welcome to my first tutorial video on how to create 3D things for Facebook. So I'll be using a little program called Cinema 4D, but you're welcome to use other programs like 3ds Max or Blender. So let's start off. I'll just go File New, so I'll create a little cube. I'll go MoGraph Mo Text, so this will do a text. I'll put this out here. So what I'm doing is I'm Alt and clicking, left clicking to look around, Alt and right clicking to zoom in and out, Alt and middle clicking to look pan around, and then I middle click to just alternate between the views. So I'll put this here and I'll set this to middle. This property here should put things on middle. I'll go display ground shading, drag this down, let's move this up. Let's call this like hello world. So I'm entering that in the text field. Scale this down a bit. Vertical spacing, put this a bit here so it looks relatively even. Now let's give this some depth, so I'll just go like here and I'll push this back. Now one of the things with text, MoGraph Mo Text, is if I'll look into lines, you'll notice we've got all of these polygons, so we want to have a little low poly feel to it, so I'll just go Object, I'll set intermediate points to natural. I'll lower the number down to 0. So now we've got that blocky feel, you know. And now you notice these shapes here, they're all one polygon, and when we get another program to read it, it does all these funky things. So to avoid that, we just go into caps and change this to triangles. I pretty much do that to every text. That's one of the first things I do. Cool, so we've got this. Now let's add a little shape in, like a little arrow. So we'll be working here. I'll just hide these two. Let's go linear, go make a little arrow. It doesn't have to be even. In fact, even if it's odd, it's probably better. So just zoom in here. Just selecting that. Cool. So I've got an arrow. Now I go here and I'll get an extrude node. Put this inside the extrude node, and now I've got like a nice little arrow. I'll unhide these two, and then move this. So same thing with the text here, is that this is all one polygon. So we just go caps, we change this to triangle, and now that will do like break it up into triangle. So you want people to look at this box and be able to rotate it. So, and this arrow is like pointing them to rotate it. So I'll do rotate this 180, change this to 180, apply, and move this out here. Cool, so that's all there. Now with every little thing I do, I always get a bunch of connect objects. Whoops. Connect objects, so I'm just duplicating that. So I'm putting the cube in this connect, so I'll call this base, and I'll call this arrow, and I'll call this text. Now you'll notice it has this like weird little thing, like this smoothing thing, and we don't want that. That's called the Phong tag. So we'll just select all of these and change Phong mode to manual. That should remove that effect. Now the reason why I put all of my objects into these things is that anything which shares a common material, like white, red, black, I always group them together. I'll show you something. So this Mo text, what it is it's essentially an object with properties on it, all of these little properties. And so when I export it to a 3D program, like another 3D program, it won't pick up these 3D properties because this is like exclusive to Cinema 4D. So we want to essentially translate these 3D properties into a bunch of polygons. So what we do is we go make editable. Now the problem is that it changes it to this. It essentially changes it to a bunch of more objects with properties, which are these extrude knobs. So I'll just undo. So that's why we put it in a connect object. So the connect object almost does that automatically. So we go make editable on the connect object, and you see how now it's just one polygon with a whole bunch of like these tags. That's why I put them in connect objects. So for now, I'll just go save it. Let's find our page, our folder, tutorials, hello world. So I have a folder naming convention where I've got hello world and my other memes, and I go HW for hello world underscore C4D. Cool. Now I'll just position this. Now let's give it some materials. So I go down here, go create new material. Let's turn off specular so we can get a better, more accurate look at it. Now let's make the arrow green. So just change it to green and put it on the arrow. Simple as that. Now let's make the box, what color? Let's make the box black. Easy. Right, we've got a black box and white text. Text is white. So let's just look at this. So we've got nice. All right. So what I usually do at this stage is I go Control A, Control C, new scene. So I put all of these, make it editable. I don't need any of these polygon tags for now. This, I keep the thong tags on just in case. If I want to make it, or for now we'll just delete the thong tags, and you see how we've now got it like really looking like a polygon. So we've got those sharp edges, whilst with it was smoothing it out. So we've got those sharp edges. We'll just go File, Export as FBX HW underscore FBX. Let's see. We don't have any textures, so but I always keep this ticked as a text file, textures and materials. This version of Cinema 4D only goes up to 7.2, but that's okay for now. Cool. Where is it? So here we have it. Just preview it. Sweet. 56.7 kilobytes. That's tiny. Let's go Paint 3D. So whenever I open up Paint 3D, I always go Canvas off. So you'd usually use this for any project, like even if you're using Blender or 3ds Max, you'll always import the FBX or OBJ into this. Let's copy that link, go back here, Control V it in, HW, cool. So this is the view people see when they see that, the first thing they see on Facebook of that 3D object. So if we switch this on, we can have a switch 3D view on, we can have a little look around. So we want the arrow to show up first. So we select this and we rotate it. If I hold shift, it snaps it. So I'll snap it like that, just like that. So I go export file, whereas as a GLB. GLB is what the what Facebook picks up. Oh, nope, wrong folder. Hello world, HW underscore GLB. Cool. And now it's like 30 kilobytes, which is tiny. So let's fire up Facebook. Let's see. Let's go onto here. Where is this? Sweet. So just click and drag this in. Should take a moment to load. Luckily, Australian internet has worked in my favor for this one time. And I give it like a color. I usually go with something green, which complements the color of the shape. If I'm working with surreal memes, I tend to go on the darker end, like these darker color, or these really abstract ones. And then these palettes are quite nice. I tend to stay away from these because these textures never really look any good for any object. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Later in other tutorials, we'll be looking at other things like textures, gradients, tune, styles, editing in text, and a bunch of other stuff. So thank you for watching. Enjoy.